Oh boy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hello. Who's your lady friend?
Sarah was the first one in.
Who's in?
Sarah and Nicola.
I can't. Do you know what? I can't. For some reason, I can't get the chat up. I don't know what's happening. It's all gone pear-shaped.
It's because you use the A products.
Yeah, it probably is. To be fair, they are.
Oh, hang on,
shit
John.
lately. They seem to have got really bad lately. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, mate. You all right? Hi, Goose. All right.
I'm still sharing, guys. So just you talk amongst yourselves.
Kieran, apparently, Viv, this is what they say. That's why I like giving birds the clap.
I have got cats being absolute knobs at the moment. Stop.
Just have a,
Well, I hear you on that one, Mark.
John.
This one's being a knob.
I've got one keeps going past the computer because it's on the mattress. It goes wobble, wobble, wobble. I've got Ghost over there. We found out what's wrong with Ghost, and she's actually been treated for it now.
Right.
Good.
And we've got Bob down here who's demanding food, although he's fed about 2 or 3 times today. Bob.
Bloody hell, Mark. Still go at your gaff.
Oh, yeah, he's a knob. He's an absolute knob. Pack it in.
Is everybody good this evening? Has everybody had a good week?
Busy, but
I
yeah,
had a
good.
good week until today. I had a good week until today, and all else. I had a little part-time job, and all I'll say is the owner is an absolute knob.
Oh, really?
Has a god complex. Yeah, she has a god complex, and no, I had to leave because
the bad god complex, or
yeah, I won't mention it on air. I'll mention it afterwards. But yeah, they're not very nice. Not very nice.
No, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. But apart from that, everybody's been okay.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, Irene.
Yeah,
Hi, Irene.
Hello, William.
William.
I hope everybody's doing well this evening. Have you still caring and cheering?
I've done it now. I'm not doing it anymore.
You were quick off the mark.
John kept interfering.
Did he?
He didn't want me to share. No.
That's John all over.
Oh, no. So he's over there now anyway.
He wants to learn.
I'll stick it on the Dark Mirrors wall as well.
Right. Can before we go any further, I need to put some get well wishes out there and send some love to Irene Akiko. She can't sleep, and Dan, she wants a lullaby tonight, please. Can you send
no problem.
Irene?
With my angelic tones, I should send her to the land of Nod and Sharpish. Either that or she'll be bleeding from the ears after 5 minutes.
A little bit of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or something.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Take off your knickers.
Keep it clean.
I love that. Sorry, Irene. Sarah's not too good. She's got a severe kidney infection and she nearly ended up in hospital. So she's at home on antibiotics and recuperating. But Sarah, lots of love and get well wishes to you.
Definitely. Love and
what do they say is good
hugs
for kidney? They say lemon barley water.
Yeah. My mum used to swear by it. You don't really hear that much, do you now? Lemon barley water.
No.
You don't.
Can you even get it anymore?
No. I remember as a kid, if I ever got ill, my mum would be straight to the bloody Lucozade. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Rita.
Hi, Rita in the kitchen. She's not really in the kitchen.
Rita in the kitchen, la la la.
She sat back there glaring at the back of Eric's head saying, if you pee me off, I am going to tweak every single nostril hair out.
She's yelling at me from the bedroom again.
I bet she is.
My, aren't you the lucky man?
We love it. We
Hear
love
a little voice in the background.
A few lemons in water. Oh dear.
But you know what? You forget about all your bad times once you hear my song because I'll be so stuck in your head so much that there won't be room for nightmares there anywhere else.
And we need to send love
get well
to
soon,
this
Nettie.
lady. She's got the snot.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it easy, Nettie. We love you lots, and just get well soon.
It's horrible, isn't it? The bugs and flu and stuff.
Yeah, you're better off in bed.
Us men getting worse than anybody. Oh, there you go. That's nice from Nicola.
So before we get into our subject this week, Mark, has there been any news on the sky, like up there on that front, in what's going on in the universe?
Oh,
that you can share with us?
I'm investigating at the moment. I'm doing a lot of research. There has been fire in the sky seen, and there has been reports of the Star of Bethlehem being seen. It's come back, allegedly. Now, we all know, anybody who's got any modicum of sense knows the Star of Bethlehem wasn't actually a star because it followed and shone away. So we all know it was something else.
Not that comet thing that's going on, is it?
No. This thing's been hovering in the sky and it's been seen above Palestine, Israel, all that lot. Whether it's something coming along saying, "Oh, you lot down there, pack your shit in," I don't know. But there's something in the sky, and it's been seen above there. It's been seen above Bethlehem, and in North America, there's been lots of reports of the same star, if you want to call it that, fire in the sky. And that was brought to my attention by Rachel, actually. And then I started looking into it, and I'm like, "What the actual?" So yeah, there is something going on.
I need to big shout out to Rachel because I haven't spoken to her for ages, and she's such a great woman, and she works bloody hard. That girl does.
She puts up with Mark.
Yeah, she does put up with Mark.
I've not been too good since Mum went, and she has been an absolute angel. She's been my rock, and she's put up with so much crap from me, and I love her to bits. So
we all love Rachel. So
she got me that as well.
Give her our regards and tell her we were asking about her, all of us.
I will do.
All of us apart from Eric and Jay.
That's just because they're miserable bastards, so that's okay.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, can we fold Parker up with his clothes while he's wearing his clothes? Oh, Eric's disappeared. I've upset him. No, he's been back in a minute.
He hasn't paid the bill again, has he?
No.
So, oh God, what did hang on. Right. So there was some stuff in the chat before. I'm going to say, Dan, you're going to wake up the dead with your singing. Rob's in the house. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Rob.
Well.
Are you doing well, bud?
Some to do with Mark. I'm going to call it Mark Star. A few wows.
That's all right, Rachel. Fuck me gently. It's all right, Sarah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I've taken the big thing. I've rung the doctor, said I need help, and I'm seeking help elsewhere. And stuff,
good,
so, yeah.
Good man.
Good man. Go on. Catherine says, "Hi, Catherine. By the way, twinkle, twinkle, little star. I hit dear Danny with my car. Dipped my business in his face. He loved it, but it's not the place. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Give it time. It's not that far." Oh, Catherine's wasted. Girl, you're wasted. Honestly. Lots of get well. Yeah.
I've passed your regards on to Rachel.
Good man.
Good man. We love her.
Thank you. I'll tell you what. As about Twinkle, Twinkle,
Go on.
All right.
This is
Twinkle,
all
twinkle,
Ryrie.
little whore. What new man is at your door? You never turn them away. They know you're an easy lay. Twinkle, twinkle, little whore. What new man is at your door? There is another verse.
Go on.
Twinkle, twinkle, little whore. You'll do all that we ask for. Suck, lick, slur, bite and swallow. We will lead, and you will follow. Twinkle, twinkle, little whore. You do all that we ask for. And I'm not going to go any further with that one.
There you go, Irene. There's your song for tonight.
There
your
you
lullaby. She loves it. She's a good old girl, is our Irene. Right, so tonight we are talking about the Aberfan disaster, the children and what happened and how we learned from this. So who wants to start and talk about what the Aberfan disaster was?
116 kids and 28 adults were killed when a slag heap that was built on top of a mountain went straight on top of the village. Pantglass Junior School.
Yeah.
St Glasgow New School, 1966, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, 21st of October, 1966.
I remember seeing the film about it, and the thing was, he's got that cat stinks, and I remember watching the film, and they knew about it. They knew it was going to happen, and they were like, "Oh, we'll deal with it. Oh, we'll deal with it." And it wasn't the ones that were made scapegoats. It was the bloody high ups, the ones that were sat back and had loads of money, and they went,
It didn't.
"Well," and they got
It
away with
just
it.
shifted, didn't it? The whole thing.
But it
shifted.
didn't help that they had 3 weeks worth of rain in 3 weeks, obviously.
And it's on top of a spring as well. There was a spring as well.
And it was 140,000 cubes or yards of soil.
Or slag,
Where's it
as
gonna
they
go?
call it, slag.
Well, it was what's it called?
Yeah.
It was all but a couple from a whole generation wiped out in that village.
Thank you, John.
Which was, I mean, you think about it as well. I mean, I'm not being funny, but how fucking thick have you got to be to put a slag heap that close to a school?
Well, yeah, it's just
It's
You're not
mental,
gonna
isn't it?
stop
Really,
it.
to think about. I mean, or it's either that or it's done to save money.
probably to save money, isn't it?
Yeah, and to hell with the consequences. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously life's cheap, isn't it, when you in a capitalist system. But
There was a guy that went up there, though, before it actually happened. He was up there. He was one of the workmen, wasn't he, that worked for the company. And he did report that
He warned them.
he warned them, and it was more than once, but it fell on deaf ears. Like he didn't know what he was talking about. This disaster could have been averted.
I mean, it went in through all the windows and doors and everything, didn't it? It smothered and choked all the kids.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
you can't get. I mean, what death? Drowning in that? Because that's basically what it is, isn't it? You're drowning.
Yeah.
You're drowning in a solid.
I want to say as well, like our government, after the disaster happened and the locals did what they can to take out or dig it out and take out the bodies. I was quite disappointed in our government. Now, I'm going to get a little bit political here. You see across the world, you see presidents and prime ministers in the sight of a disaster. They go to that place. They're seen to be talking to the disaster, the relief effort, and to the locals and or any survivors. But on this occasion, it was as though they were boycotted. The royal family,
The Queen went. And the Prime Minister said, "Don't go," and she said, "I don't care what you say," and she went.
Wow.
Yeah. And she went. God rest her soul, that poor lady.
The last royal, really, in my opinion.
But our government didn't want to go, which to me spoke volumes. What are you hiding? What are you covering up? This is more than what. It's not just a disaster. It's more than that. Because when you think about back in the day, all these coal pits and everything, they were like government run. I remember the days of Arthur Scargill rowing with Margaret Thatcher over. Do you remember? So
I remember the spitting image version of them as well.
Oh, that was brilliant.
You know,
that was brilliant.
But
the trouble is like, and as you know yourself, on our show, we slate the government because of what's going on, and they're doing it again. I noticed that the Hound of the Baskervilles outside. I noticed that they're doing it again with the budget that's coming up. They never learn. They never, ever learn. And it's always the poor guys get it in the neck, and the rich people get richer and richer. And they do it. Every single one that gets in power, they take shortcuts. They make the fat cats richer, screw everybody over, and no one learns. No one learns, and no one kicks them out.
No. And the thing is as well, I mean, I'm sick of people going, they work for us, they work for us. Well, clearly they don't.
They don't. They don't.
Clearly they never have. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what colour that banner they fly under. It's the same shit, different packaging.
Exactly.
They're all the same. They're all the same, and they don't care about anybody.
Fuck Dark Mirror.
Sarah says
the
killed
water in
by the coal board as they knew there was water in the slag heap.
Because there was a spring there as well, and the water was leaking.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that in a little bit, because I had a very, very interesting conversation with a gentleman today at work about that. Nicola says she's 52
Yeah, it's
years
horrible,
old and she
Nicola.
feels sad
I'm 52
about
as
it.
well.
So am I.
I'm not.
It's like I was
Yeah,
there.
well,
I'm not. I'm much younger.
How much?
What do you laugh? What do you mean, not much?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not a surprise, is it?
Yeah.
It's always the way we know it is, you know, and it's and they get away with it. And it's not just our country; they do it all around the world. They're all corrupt, you know.
Oh yeah, governments wherever they are the same.
Yeah,
they're all the same. They're all cut from the same cloth.
Polar Knight said he or she or whoever you are. I love the men's beard. It's the perfect evolution of beard growth.
You can't see, but I've got a goatee going on here.
There you go.
Oh, here he goes. He's getting something. Woohoo!
Rachel likes me with stubble, so we keep.
Oh, here it goes.
I spiked his Guinness with my pee. Between the two, he was lost and pissed his shoe. Pinky Thinky Whittle Fee. He like that tanky.
What's wrong with you?
We're going to do a program on that. What's wrong with Catherine
listening
next
to us
week?
too much.
Yes, she's watching us all the time. That's the problem.
Oh, but today, Parker and Eric, you'll find this interesting. I was talking to a retired doctor, and he doesn't live in Wales anymore or anywhere near it. But we got onto the subject of the Aberfan disaster, and he said to me he lived very close by when this happened. And he said he remembers as a child, he would play in the heaps of old discarded coal. I mean, we would call it flag. Yeah. And he said he remembers that it used to be very hot. It used to get wet. For obvious reasons, but then it would get very hot. And I said, really? He said, yes, it used to get very, very hot. And once or twice I did burn myself. He said, I remember that. He said, my mother used to call me in and give me a clip round the ear roll, and there you go. But he also mentioned about a window and door tax. And in those days, you saved yourself, and he said to me, like in today's money, because he's a bit older than me, he said, it would amount to, you saved yourself £1.79, it would amount to, if the windows and doors were nailed shut, you didn't open them, you didn't use them. And he said, within the Aberfan disaster, windows were nailed shut.
There's no escape either.
To save money, as like, again, the government getting involved in things again. He said, so those
has been going since medieval times, since glass was invented.
Yeah. He said, I said, I know about the window tax, like you see them in older Victorian buildings, they're bricked over and the doorways are bricked over. He said, yeah, no. He said, this goes back even further. He said, there were times, and he said, even into more modern days, that you were taxed on having a window. He said, so they would nail them shut. So if that window's not in use, you can't be taxed for it. So you can imagine these poor kids. I mean, at the time that I think that, it's portrayed that the kids, and assumed that the kids were told by the teacher to climb under the table, thinking the table would sustain the weight.
They were told to go under there.
And when that stuff it goes really quick as well, doesn't it? Actually, it runs like water.
Yeah.
Once it goes, there's no stopping it.
But those poor kids had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Even if they could have run to a door and get out before, they wouldn't have beaten that, because of the way it came down was so hard and so fast. They wouldn't have survived it.
Am I remembering this right or wrong? I can't remember. Something I seem to think didn't have a communal grave there for them.
There's up on the hillside, isn't there? They're all the bodies are lined up on the hillside.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. But even now, I mean, today, I mean, it was obviously it was a pit village, so it was impoverished at the time. But even today, it's it's scarred. It's haunted, not in the sense that the spirits of kids there, but it's haunted. It's a very haunted place. Yeah. It's scarred by those memories.
It's one of those places where I would not go and investigate, because I'm very.
No, I wouldn't.
I just out of respect for them.
That another place I wouldn't go and investigate was Lockerbie.
Yeah,
it's another one.
Anything that's a recent disaster, a bit like the inside of my pants, I just wouldn't go and investigate. You know.
To be fair, and Dan and I and Jamie, I think you was there at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. We went to Wales to do an investigation, and we was very close by. You know, we were very close by to Aberfan, and we didn't have time. Otherwise, we would have done it. But there is a garden now in the place where the school used to stand. It's now a garden of remembrance, and I wanted to go there just to go and see, just send out some nice thoughts to those kids.
Lay some flowers or something.
And lay some flowers, but I don't think it's talked about enough, these disasters that happen here in the UK. It's all about what happens out there across the world. Yeah. But for some reason, I think in Wales they talk about it at school. But other than that, it's not mentioned. The disasters here are not mentioned.
No, that's sad, isn't it?
Well, there's understanding the Welsh accent for a start, you know.
Well, there's that.
Oh, David Thomas, you bloody fool. You could have had a bit of cock there.
So, yeah.
I think
what have we learned from it?
I would like to go there just to see it.
Yeah.
The government will never learn. Anywhere that they can cut corners from, they will. And it doesn't matter if the public gets screwed over. It don't matter. You know?
I mean, prime example, that building you went to, Viv.
We've got better laws now, but...
That building that you went to, the tower.
Renfrew?
Yeah. When you went there, didn't you?
Oh, that one.
You went there when it just after the fire. Well, it just literally happened, didn't it?
I went to Grenfell Tower. For those that don't know, it's a block of flats that caught fire and that the residents couldn't get out, and a lot of them died.
Oh, horrific.
And I went there, it was about 5 days afterwards, with a lot of clothing, medical, like just little things like tablets, headache tablets, plasters, toothbrushes, toothpaste, that sort of thing, for those families that got out that had nothing. And what I learnt that particular day, speaking to some of the survivors that came back to Grenfell, they didn't know what to do. They were put in nearby hotels. One lady, she got out of her flat but lost her pets, and she was most distraught and upset about that. And, you know, and I was there just trying to console her, in floods of tears. She lost everything, but she said she was put in this hotel room, and in the morning, what she did was she drew the curtains. She got up in the morning, opened the curtains, and the first thing she saw was Grenfell Tower, the green in the front, and the bodies being laid out outside on the green. Wow. That was something that those survivors should not have seen, or anybody else come to that matter. So who's at fault there? I don't know. I then spoke to the fire crews. One poor guy, he was in bits. And bearing in mind, this is 5 days later.
You've got to have treatment after that, haven't you?
He was putting on his respirator and getting his stuff ready because my friend Neri, she's like, we'll go and get them coffees. We'll give them a coffee. We'll go and get coffees. And I was talking to this one guy and, you know, thanking him for what he was doing. You know, he said that's all part of the job, but I will never get those images out of my head. But he did say to me that he was going in again. And I said, do you need to go in now? Is the fire not put out? And his words were, I'm going in to help with the rest of the cleanup. Mm. In other words, I'm going in to try and retrieve more bodies. And these words, and this is 5 days later, these words will always stick with me. I spoke to a lady that received a phone call from her partner, her husband, who went to visit his friend. He was there visiting when it happened. And he rang her from the bathtub. They filled the bath with water and all of them stood in the bath, making their phone calls to say goodbye to family members. And when she was telling me this, like, I lost it. I couldn't contain myself anymore. And these are memories that I will always keep with me. And I ask myself, who is to blame? Who?
Well,
not just for the disaster, but for what then happens afterwards.
It was
The
cost
duty of
cutting
care.
again.
Yeah. Again, it was government, wasn't it?
Duty of care
government.
afterwards.
And they knew about
It's
that.
just-
Apparently they knew about that years. They knew about it for years, but they kept stalling it, getting it done because of the finances that were behind it. And then it goes up and then now it's coming out. There's like quite a few buildings with the same materials in it, and they know about it, but they won't jump on it. You know why?
Go
Don't you?
on,
Because
Mark.
working class people are expendable.
Aliens!
I like the way it goes. I like when he does it. Love it.
I can't bloody do that, and can I? So I go, and then I go, fuck you.
Love it. Ooh.
Oh wow! Is it? Oh wow!
Wow. That's
Bloody
crazy.
hell, man! Imagine that keeping that though. What? That's horrible.
Do eat, Mark.
Do eat, Mark. Do eat, Mark.
Do eat.
Do eat, Mark. Do eat.
I nearly pooed
I'm
myself
all
there.
right. I'm fine.
Parker, wake up, mind you. He has been working. He's been a busy bee.
He's a busy bee, isn't he?
I'm all right.
Oh, excuse me.
They had to take my American parents to the shrine in the middle of the mountains, and I got attacked by Samurai spirits. Oh shit! Who shared their battle with me? I got sick to my stomach. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk up the stairs to their tombstone, but I felt everything. I had to walk down to the other part. We can pray to the gods. They removed the pain, and I got back to my old self.
Oh,
But
hell.
there's bits missing. I can't. Yeah, I don't know what the rest of it says. So, Mark, you know a bit about samurai and chi and all the rest of it. What did you think of that from Eileen?
I believe things can attach, and I think the Japanese gods are like the old gods, and I do think there is. I've said before many times. I do think Parthenons are gods. There's a very good explanation for them, and I do think they were real and they existed, but I don't think they were what we think they are. But I also think that anything that happens, massive energy gets expelled, and if the sandstone or any type of crystalline structure in the bedrock, it will take the energy, because you know quartz takes energy, and I could see that things could be stuck there and things can attach themselves and it can reenact and reenact and reenact.
And also part of the Japanese history could come into play as well, because the samurai used to attack the villagers, didn't they? Right. Which is how karate came about, because it was a learning self-defense against.
Actually, karate's been about a lot longer than people think.
Has it?
Because, yeah, when one of the little things that people don't know, Jesus was a real person. It was a human being, but they think he was a hybrid. But when he went through India and across Asia, he actually learned some of what was then called the forbidden arts, and he was learning karate nearly over 2,000 years ago, or the base form of it as it was then. Because karate originally and any martial arts originally came from India and then spread out all over Asia.
Oh, bloody hell! Not India.
Actually, there is a warrior caste. There's an Indian warrior caste that has its own martial art. They tend to grab all the boobies and go, order, a lot. But, you know.
Order. Don't you disrespect Mr. Singh.
Don't you bloody bastard bitch.
Don't you. Don't you bloody. No,
I love their chakra weapons that they use.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a couple of them on the wall. But yeah, martial arts actually originally come from India. Jesus studied them as well, and he studied the healing arts of Qi. He studied those in China and across India and across into Tibet.
Oh, there you go. You heard it from there.
I know a bit about Qi and stuff. I use Qi as black and white medicine, which is one of the things you learn in a particular type of ninjutsu. And I learned the black and white medicine, as it's called. And it's all to do with healing or putting in. And black medicine is putting in, healing is taking away. So What was that? Facebook can suck my lady dick.
Ari says karate came from Okinawa.
Okinawa.
When it got to Japan, yeah, it did. Their version, that karate, original Okinawa is the birthplace of karate, but martial arts in its purest form was started off in India.
Do you know where folding
origami?
Folding clothes up while people are still in them, where that originated from?
What, wrestling?
I think it came from Chelmsford.
Wrestling was Turkey and Greece, wasn't it?
That was an ancient art that came from the wonderful land of Burtons.
Eric doesn't know about Burtons, do you? Eric, you have to go to Burtons when you come here.
They're not. They're closed.
They are gone, aren't they?
Shut down. Yeah, they're gone.
We could take him out and just give him a makeover.
You know, CNA closed down.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a CNA in Ghent in Belgium. You know, I went there beginning of the year. There's a CNA's there.
No.
Yep. We walked past it and I went, fuck me, it's CNA.
Wow.
It was like a dirty bedroom CNA.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to give Eric a makeover. He's going to dress like an English gent.
If you're wearing tweed, mate, you're going to get itchy balls, just to warn you.
Barber jacket and flat cap.
I got
mate.
I actually have one.
What, a flat cap or a barber jacket?
Both, and tweed.
He's got tweed boxer shorts, doesn't he? He goes to bed going.
Dan's going to take him out across country and they're going to go shooting together.
Yes. If we can find a post office and a couple of sawn-offs, we'll be sorted.
I can't wear a flat cap. If I wear a flat cap, I look like I look like I touch kids, so I just don't. You all right, Dan? I wear baseball caps, but I don't wear a flat cap because it's just like, oh, you little ginger thing, come here.
Actually, the flat cap I have is my dad's. So.
Aww. A kilt and no Long John's underwear.
He comes to the devil's in weather, he's going to have nothing. It'll go.
The Devil's in Skirts, wasn't it? Of the Carry On film.
Good.
Oh yeah, Devil's in Skirts.
Devil's in Skirts.
Yeah. And lift.
So let's get back to the Aberfan disaster because we're having far too much fun over a serious thing.
You got to lighten it up. You have got to lighten it up.
You have, yeah.
I know, but no one likes to see disasters anywhere in the world. No one, definitely 100%, and there's something wrong with you if you disagree, but nobody likes to see disasters where it involves children or anything happening to children.
No. Or anybody, but particularly kids.
No.
Particularly children. I mean, could you imagine the sadness that is in the grain of that society? I mean, that's never going to go anywhere, is it? That sadness is just going to sit there, isn't it, and fester.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, imagine that many parents attending the funerals of their kids. You can't get your head around it, can you?
No.
And all credit, really.
And I think it leaves a stain, doesn't it? It leaves a stain and a bad taste in that village because all they are known for now is that disaster.
Yeah. I mean, if you think as well that the unsung heroes of it, as they always are the firemen, the police, and the paramedics, or the ambulance drivers, as it were at the time. You know, having to deal with that shit. I mean, I couldn't. I
think as well the locals, everyone that came together to dig, they were digging with their hands to try and get to the children. They were digging, and they didn't just do it for a little while. They were digging with their hands for days to try and find the bodies of those poor little kids. And these are the people, really, that should be recognised for what they did.
Oh,
they put
yeah,
their own
definitely.
safety at risk to try and save some of these poor little innocent kids.
Well, you know, I mean, to be able to do a job like that, you've got to be a very special person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, you've got to be super special. Because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what they did.
No.
You know,
No.
Well, the thought of it broke me.
Yeah.
I'll let
know.
you into a little something. Do you remember the King's Cross disaster?
Yeah.
Yes.
What, the fire?
Yeah.
I was with the Red Cross in Guildford, and we were, all the local Red Cross were called in to help as well. And I've seen bits of people welded to the steel.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And we helped deal with the aftermath. I was only 18, 19, I think, and we helped deal with the aftermath. And
I'll let you
there's
know
a
a
lot
story
of
about the
stuff here.
King's Cross.
Go on, Dan.
I used to work with a team years ago. It was only a small team. There's about 5 of us. And the woman that ran it phoned me up one day and said, I need to speak to you really urgently. So I said, oh, well, I'll see you on Saturday. I think it was midweek. I'll see you Saturday. No. She went, I need to speak to you like quicker than that. I need to see you, sit down, speak to you. So I thought, what the fucking hell was going on here? But she wouldn't tell me. So anyway, I met up with her, and there was a couple of us there, and she said, we've been contacted by London Transport. So I went, okay. She said, and they want us to go into the tunnels at King's Cross, and they want us to carry out an investigation there and give them all the reports. We're not allowed to keep anything. We're not allowed to take anything away from it. And they wanted us to collect audio because they'd had a spate of people going down there, just like passengers and just run-of-the-mill people. And it got so bad, the amount of experiences that people were having, that it was getting astronomical and it was getting out of hand. So they wanted to put together a team to go down there, collect information, catalogue it and give it to them. And it was over a few nights. And they said, but whatever you do, this can't be open. You can't tell the public. It can't be open to the public. We can't give any of this information away. We just want it. And we want whatever they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do with it. So we were meant to do it. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I haven't got a problem with that. We'll go down and we can see what we can collect. But it was getting too hairy, and they just phoned up and called it off in the end. They said, no, we're not going to go ahead with it for whatever reason. But if you imagine so clearly, these disasters do have an impact on the environment.
Oh yeah.
You know,
one of the New York tunnels has got the same thing as well. The one that flooded in the 20s, that's got the same thing as well. People have said reports from that saying that when they go down there, when it's a few of them have allowed teams down there when it's closed for like maintenance and stuff, and they've reported the same thing: screams and shouts and the sound of people dying and drowning.
Yeah. Well, they were getting people coming up and saying that like passengers were saying they were hearing people calling out. This is what they didn't want us to get out if we got EVPs. They were getting names coming through, and these people were saying, well, I've heard somebody shouting this name, this voice. Nobody's there, but shouting this name. And I don't know what's going on, but it's creeped me out. And then they've looked through the register or the registry they had, and the names that were being shouted out were some of the people that had died in the disaster. So clearly they're shouting out to the people, look, my name is, and trying to get the information out there. But it would have been interesting to do, but my God, I said, but it's like all of those disasters, it would have had such an impact on you because of the environment must be so heavy, you know.
Yeah. I am on the way back from the gig on the Sunday night. I saw a man get on the tube. I was on the Piccadilly line. Got on the tube, and there's a man with an underground jacket on. I think he'd finished his shift for the night and was on his way home. And me being me, gobby cow. Oh, can I talk to you? He went, yeah, sure. Is there a problem? I went, no. I just want to ask you about the ghosts on the underground. You do? And he started laughing. I said, no, I'm being serious. And I told him why. And he then gave me some information. He had never seen anything personally himself. But somebody he knew got a job with the London Underground sweeping the tunnels. So when the tunnels close at night, last train's gone, settled in, team goes in for the clear up and they have to sweep because of dead skin,
the dust and all that, innit?
dust and all that, and to try and keep rodents down to a minimal.
There's
And he said
people
this,
down there as well.
yeah, he said there's this particular guy, he was put on a particular line and a certain part of the track. He said he went into the tunnel, started doing his job, because like people sort of then split off and go and do their sections so it gets done quicker. Okay, so he said he's there on his own and he's sweeping and he's minding his own business, and he just stopped to take a break and eat a bit of a sandwich. And he said this woman and her son, they were holding hands, this woman and her little kid, a boy. He said they walked past him. And he shouted out to him, "Oi, what are you doing in here? You're not ready to be here." And she turned around and looked at him square in the eye. Turned around, then turned again and carried on walking. So with that, he's put his sandwich away, got up to go and run, go after him, and she's nowhere to be seen.
Because then when you do,
why would a woman and her son be there, for one?
We had the blitz, didn't you? A lot of them used to use those zero shelters, didn't they?
Secondly, she was interactive. The fact that she turned round after he shouted at her, she turned to face him, like, "You talking to me," sort of thing. So there is a lot going under there. That particular part of track, I'm not going to mention it on here, on the live, has got no reports of any disasters. Was nowhere near the big disaster during the Blitz. Going in there. Why is this one in there in the tunnels? He said he can't explain it. The man was left so distraught that he gave up that job, working and cleaning that part of the track. Got another job elsewhere within the London Underground, but it shit him up enough to give him to stop working anymore.
Do you think that it could be because when they built them tunnels, the Victorians, they were meant to move the graves, weren't they? They dug right through the middle of the graveyards.
Remember you telling me that?
Yeah.
They left, and rather than move the bodies like they were meant to, they left a load of them in situ, and they just just put like brick around it to strengthen it. So
it's like when they put the Elizabeth line in Liverpool Street, they had to have the investigators there and for all the plague and that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I remember
what they're digging through.
I remember when I lived in Ealing, and I used to work with Adson Lee. I can remember coming down into where Madame Tussauds is. You have to drop down off the A40. As it comes down, I can remember they were building a big city block there, and it all had to be stopped because they found a plague pit and they found some Viking stuff there. And I remember it was stopped for about 7 weeks whilst they sorted all that out.
Yeah, they were. Could you go back a minute? Was it Net? It said they worked on the trains.
That was Nettie.
I worked the rail. Believe me, I've seen them. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Trains and tunnels and stuff like that. And particularly stuff like underground. The amount of activity that seems to be going on under there. I wonder if it's something to do with the high voltage.
It could be.
Probably.
That was good, Nicola. I saw that. Nicola, it was good.
I do think a lot of EMF affects you. It makes you hallucinate, makes you feel sick, and all this stuff. I've done investigations where people have reported stuff in certain areas, and you go and investigate certain areas, and you got like massive generators on the backs of walls and stuff, and it's the EMF through.
I know people say.
How do we know? How do we know it's not aliens hiding down there? Aliens in plain sight.
There is a conspiracy theory that all the tunnels throughout the world, there are, the people that are supposed to live under the crust of the earth. There is, again, these theories that their tunnels connect up onto the subway tunnels, underground tunnels and stuff like that, and they do connect, and that a lot of the sightings that are seen of these weird and wonderful things are actually the people that live down below.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what else would be an interesting thing to look at as well.
Aliens.
Look at where this activity is happening, and then check Earth energies like ley lines.
Yeah,
and see if there's anything coming off of them that enables it, like a power junction.
I have the secret. I know
The
what
Morlocks,
it is.
that's it, Robert.
Yeah,
It's not the Morlocks. They're all the borrowers.
I love the borrowers.
The borrowers are
You know what? I
underneath
thought
there.
you said all the foreigners, and I was about to say, bloody hell, Viv. I dug their way in. Christ.
No, it's the
Viv, or as you're known, Viv of the small boat people.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, you're right,
Yeah.
Nettie, you're right. And do you know what as well? A lot of people top themselves under as well. I had a friend of mine who did it, and yeah, that. And also the
Thank you.
people who commit suicide, now their mind's not right, are they? So you don't know what's going through them and the energy that they're sort of extolling. You don't know what's happening with that energy.
You look at the
It's all
forest.
energy.
You look at the suicide forest in Japan. The energy that's there. There's
Yeah.
you can feel it as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
Bad energy there, you know?
But
Yeah.
the accidents that happened as well, you know, like not on the underground, but on the actual trains when people would lean out of the window, head off.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Things like that, and also the shunters, the people that are working every day. We had a member of our family who was my nan's brother
Dave said
who got
member.
squashed between two trains, and he was shunting that one. Just and it got crushed. But it's coming from all angles. I mean, we can surmise and have theories about it until the cows come home, but I think more work needs to be done there in those areas, and scientifically as well, over a period of time.
And if you look at the railway network as well, there's probably been disasters and deaths and all sorts of accidents on every foot of it.
Well, absolutely.
At some point or juncture, you know.
I know there is somewhere over there that I want to go. I don't know which train rail station it is, whatever, but this guy was investigating the fact that there's supposed to be a ghost train that comes in there.
There's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few sealed off tunnels as well that have got reports of the trains coming through the brickwork where it's been sealed off as well.
Oh, do you know what,
Yeah,
Nettie?
That's only on Thomas.
Nettie,
Thomas the Tank Engine.
do you know,
Well,
I
I'm
used to
talking
work.
about Welsh stuff, so Ivor the engine.
I used to work for like a courier company that used to deal with all the freight stuff on the railway, and some of the stuff used to go on mainline, and some of our drivers used to get subbed out to something first they were called. Anyway, they used to drive mainline trains, and this one guy, I got hold of the training DVD for the drivers. And my boss said to me, "Oh, you don't want to watch that." He said, "It's pretty gory." I went, "Yeah, I need to watch it." He said, "Well, go and sit in that room quietly, put it on. But if anybody walks in, you need to turn it off." I went, "Okay." I didn't get to the gory parts. I had to go off and do some work. But one of the mainline drivers had a jumper, and he came. He came in. Apparently, he was telling me all about this. But the jumper, when they jumped, they hit the big screen, you know, the big window.
Yeah.
And he said he watched this person split.
Yeah.
Right. So he had what did he have? A year off work on full pay, like compassionate leave. When you get a jumper, these mainline drivers, they get compassionate leave. Okay. So after that,
you train driver.
yeah, and then they get counselling. They get all the care and love in the world, you know, they get the counselling. And then he came back to work, and then he had to redo his tests, because you have to do tests. You have to be tested all the time. Anyway, he did his test, passed that, back on the main line. The same day, the very first day he went back on the main line, he had another jumper. So it was another year off work. And I met him when he was first coming back to work after having all this time off. These guys, I mean, back then, they were getting 80 grand a year. And if he's having a year off, he's getting his 80 grand a year for sitting at home. Yes, it's bad what they go through, but I do not feel sorry for these mainline train drivers that complain that we don't get paid enough money, we don't get paid this.
Money.
The other staff... The other staff, yes. But when it comes to mainline drivers, they get paid handsomely. And they were moaning at me about the British Transport Police, because once somebody gets hit on a track, nothing moves, nothing goes anywhere. Passengers are still on the train. The driver is a wreck on that train, and the Transport Police get there very quickly. And of course, this guy's in shock. You know, you don't realise what he's actually just seen and witnessed and been through. Never mind about the poor jumper. It's that driver. And then they're wanting them to do statements straight away. So they have to wait until a representative comes and then helps him, like, don't answer that question.
The thing I want to know about all these jumpers. Sorry, the thing I want to know about all these jumpers is what makes it so bad that they have to do this? I mean, hoodies don't do it.
That's very true. Or cardigans.
Yeah. The cardigans just bring out bits on.
Well, at Huntingdon, let me tell you this. It was so funny. I cried with laughter. This woman at Huntingdon jumped off a bridge. And she sort of was at the station part. So she jumped off. The train was coming in. It was already braking and already stopping. She jumped off the thing and the train stopped just in front of her, didn't hit her. And she just stood there staring at the train driver on the track. He had to get out of the train to move her, and said, "Come on, you silly cow, move out of the way." So was this woman not meaning to do it? She just had some issues, and, you know, because if you mean to do it and you do it that way, it's going to be quick. You know, my heart goes out to the jumpers and the drivers, but everyone else that wants to whinge and moan about delays, oh, come off it. Come on, go away.
Someone's taking their life. That's the least of your worries.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
See, the only ones I agree with striking are the doctors and nurses and that, because they get rushed off their feet and they don't get any thanks for it, and they should. And the people that work in mental health and care, I believe carers and stuff should get paid more. But when you get like teachers and train drivers and stuff, like I know how much you earn as a in the second year as a trainee train driver. It's 40 grand. You know, what do you think I've applied for it? And they go, "No, we've not got enough money. We've not got enough money." And then you got teachers go, "No, we're not got, you greedy bastards."
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
You also get these kids that they see a train coming and they run across the track. It's like dares. And where the train driver, they sit so high, they can't see past. No. Once they get to a certain point, they can't see if they've hit someone or something. So these kids, they see the kids at the edge of the train track. Some of them run across and some of them go just as they're out of sight, so they don't know whether they've hit them or not. This is another thing that...
Play chicken, don't they, kids? A lot of places do that they do now, Kids years ago as well used to put a coin on the track, didn't they?
Mm.
So when the train went over it, then they go and collect it. It'll be flat, and you think, just like you look at a lot of these tracks and you think they're all open, so any kid could get onto them, you know. But the thing is, I used to know. I didn't really know him. He was a friend of a friend, and I was speaking to him at a party once, and he said that he was a train driver, and he'd had 3 deaths. So 3 deaths, they give you the option. That's it. You can go. You can go on a life's retirement. That's you're done. You're done. Fully paid up and what have you. But he didn't take it. And I said, "Well, why did you take it?" And he said, well, 2 of the deaths, the first ones he had were jumpers. And the third one was a jumper. But what happened with the third one is he was driving a freight train in the early hours of the morning. And what it was is it had loads of what do they call it?
Freight?
Gravel and stuff.
Gravel.
Gravel.
Yeah.
And this guy jumped off trying to get under the train, but he missed. And he banged himself onto the side of the carriage or whatever, the truck, and then rolled into it. So when he got to this other place, what they did, they used a crane to pick the gravel up. So they didn't check the top. So they just picked it up, and then they got half a bloke in it.
Oh.
And then they got back the other half. And I said to him, "Didn't that put you off?" And he said something, and I thought, if it were me, I wouldn't be able to do it. But he must have had the strength of mind, because I said to him, "Didn't you go for the third and out?" And he went, I didn't fucking push them. It wasn't me that did it. He said, no, I'm not taking responsibility for their actions.
No.
And I thought, well, that's probably the right way to be, if you can be like that. And it wasn't that he was being cold. He was a really nice guy. Hi, Richard. He was a really nice guy. But it was like, I'm not taking responsibility for their actions. I thought, I can see your point. You know?
Yeah, no, it's a whole sad situation, though. I think all round for the jumper, the families left behind, and the people themselves. But again, it's like the human brain is very, very fascinating. I'd love to understand. I'd love to meet an alien that's seen this happen.
There's one in number 10.
Yeah. He wears a suit that's bought by other people.
It was yeah.
Well, right. I don't know where Eric's gone, but we will do the Jar of Doom, and I think Mark should pick.
I didn't even notice Eric was gone.
Tell me when to stop. Right. I have got number 1 or number 2? Number 1 or number 2?
Number 1.
Oh, goodness gracious, number 1 coming.
All I can hear is Windsor Davis going, lovely boy.
Yeah.
So, next week's subject is ghosts or phantoms that attack the living.
Be interesting.
Fucking knock them out.
You could bring energy vampires into
There's a
that.
fistful of holy water and give him a right-hander.
Oh, dear.
Know what your version of a right-hander is, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take long.
Well, do you know what, Catherine? There have been deaths where people come out of the pub pissed and want a wee, and they've just gone on the train tracks and hit the electric line and have electrocuted themselves and died as a result of pissing on the lines.
Death by pissing electric, isn't it?
It's like when people pee on the electric fences, you know, and then they wonder why their knobs exploded, you know.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh, Mary, she
Thanks,
had
Nicola.
She had an electric fence round one of her smaller pens to keep her prize pigs, and she said she didn't know whether it was on or not, so she got someone to lick it. It was switched off. It's a good job it was off.
Yeah. Like your eyeballs explode.
Yeah, can you imagine it? It's all right, I'll just lick this fence and see if it's on.
I think
I don't know if it's on or not. I'll just put my knob on it.
There was an Australian, because I watch, is it Rock Radio? The two Aussies? And they were talking about a guy who messaged in and said about he'd put an electric fence round to stop burglars, but he put a really strong one. And he didn't realise how strong it was. And long story short, he electrocuted himself on it. Got sent flying backwards, woke up about 3 hours later, sunburnt to hell, some of his teeth melted, one eye open, one eye closed. His balls had tried to climb up inside him. And he said when he eventually, and he'd shat himself and he'd peed and as well. And he said that when he eventually sorted himself and went to look at the thing, it was designed for zapping prize bulls that had lost their rag.
Oh, God.
So, and he literally just had the full force of it. He ran over it with his mower. The wire had come off and he'd run over it with his mower. And he said the mower was crap beforehand, but now it runs like an absolute dream. Oh, and one of his nipples still twitches.
Oh, God. Right. So Eric will be back next week with a show about ghosts or phantoms that attack the living. Special guest Zach Baggins. No, I'm only joking. It's a thing. No, so he will be back next week with some show hosts discussing that. But there are some shows that are happening on the Simply Spooky Network and the Things Network this week, if you would like to tune in. We'll quickly go through them now. Tomorrow night on the Simply Spooky show, the Spooky Show on Things, Dan, Viv and Eric will be talking to the Jack the Ripper expert, and we will be talking about the big reveal, the name that's happened recently. So if you're interested in that, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the Simply Spooky Network. And then Thursday, Dan, you've got the Beard Room.
Yes, we'll be talking about is touching yourself in public always a bad thing?
They will be talking about something mythical and magical with Tim and Eric.
Or it might be, I've been caught hanging around schools again. It might be that one.
Again? Oh my God, Dan, we've already told you about that.
Friday on Simply Spooky Network is the Freaky Friday show, and the guys will be out in force. I think they have a guest on, I am not sure, but don't forget to check them out. Saturday is it's William's show. No, it's William's show, which is mythical. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it now. I've gone blank. I'm thinking of you, Dan. Paranormal Insights.
Paranormal Insights, yes.
Or Mythical Insights, something like that.
Mythical, you're right. Mythical Insights,
which is quite an interesting show. Metaphysical Insights has come back. There's always something to learn on William's show. Sunday nights, Nettie may or may not be on.
She's not very well,
with Bry. She's not very well. So look out on Sunday at 7 o'clock for Shadows and Lights. I know that they had something planned and it looked bloody awesome, but let's hope. And if she feels better, touch wood she will, she'll be back on Sunday. And on Monday nights...
And the Dark Mirror Radio.
Yes. Lots of fun on the Dark Mirror Radio, isn't it? With lots of conspiracies and news and all sorts, and sightings and sometimes even pictures.
We had a UK cryptid hunter on yesterday's show.
Jolly good. Jolly good.
Excellent. I will let people know you're hearing it first because it hasn't been announced yet, but soon to be announced, I think, next week. I am talking at the UK Cryptid Con in Bridgewater next May.
What, Somerset?
In Somerset, yes.
Yeah, I know Bridgewater well. Yeah.
Somerset.
So, yeah. Buy your tickets, come and see me, let's have a chat and let's have a bit of fun. Dan goes, Dan might be there, Jamie might be there, you never know. It's good fun, and it's going on for 3 days this year. And
I might be there.
A big secret. We have some of the cast from Expedition Bigfoot in attendance. So get your tickets and your VIP tickets now.
Oh, Nico will be there.
Yeah, Nico's been there. Oh, Nico, you missed a good one last time, but yes, we shall talk about it.
Was Nico in the chat tonight? I didn't see Nico. Was he in?
Yeah, he's in. So, Eric, before we wind the show up, this is your subject for next week. Ghosts or phantoms that attack the living.
Oh, cool.
I'm not on next week.
No.
Following
we get all the cool ones and we get all the rubbish ones.
I know.
But, yeah. But thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us and supporting us tonight. We can't do this without you. We love each and every one of you. Please take care of yourselves. If you're not well, get well soon.
Indeed.
And we hope that we will catch up with you at one of the shows airing soon. But if not, you can always watch us on Catch Up. Don't forget to check out the Things Network. They also have some fantastic shows on there. And again, you can catch their shows on Catch Up. Apologies, Grizzly Chris. Grizzly Chris, yes, has been a bit busy, but he's also putting out shows as well, so you can catch his shows too. But he has been a busy man out filming just lately, so we'll let him off. He deserves a break. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to leave last words with you guys before I end the stream.
See you later, guys.
Aliens! There you go.
Yeah.
Piss off, you've had your lot, now go.